This is page 80 in our notes, and this is working on standard SP4, and this is box plots. So continuing on with box plots, sometimes we call them box and whisker. What you need to know with box plots, you need your lowest, your highest, and you need quartile 1, quartile 2, and quartile 3. Lowest, highest, quartile 1, 2, and 3. So when you're looking at, and I taped this on here, you're going to glue this in your notes. So sorry about that. That's kind of shiny because it's on the tape there. Lowest, highest, quartile 1, 2, and 3. So when you have this data set here, my lowest is, it's already in least to greatest order. So it makes it a little easier to see lowest and highest. Your lowest is 91. And your highest, so you got lowest 91 and your highest is 128. And so you got your lowest and highest. And when you look at that, you can see your dot there, your lowest and your highest is already plotted. This is 90. Sorry about that, got cut off. 90, so this dot is on 91. 128 is your highest, and that dot is right here. There's 125, 126, 127, so that would make this 128. So you can kind of see those there. In order to find quartile 1, 2, and 3, you have to find quartile 2 first. Remember, quartile 2 is your median. You have to find the middle. And so you can do that several ways. You can go 1, 2, 3 on this side, and then 1, 2, 3 on this side. And then you can go 1, 1, 1, 1, and right there, 105. That is your median. We also refer to that as quartile 2. And so once you find quartile 2, your median, you can cover up the top side. So I'm going to use my pen to cover up the top side. So then I have to find the median of those numbers on the bottom. And so if I look at the bottom, I've got, I'm going to change colors here so you can see it a little easier. I cover up the top half, 91, 95. So I got 2 over here, 101, 100. So then 98. That's your quartile 1. Sometimes we refer to that as the lower quartile. And then to do the same thing for the upper quartile, we cover up the bottom half and we have to find quartile 3, which is in the middle. So 1, 2 on this side, 1, 2 on this side. The middle number is 117. That's your quartile 3. Sometimes we refer to this as the upper quartile. So you got to find quartile 2 first, your median, and that was, what was that, 105. Quartile 1 ended up being 98, and then quartile 3 ended up being 117. So looking at your numbers, this was a 128. I know that was kind of hard to read. So continuing on, you found all that with the data, and then you can finish up your box and whisker. What's the least value of the data? So the least value was 91. Label that point as point A on the box plot. So basically over here, point A, move this up just a little bit. Point A is right here. This dot would be point A. This is your smallest or your lowest number in your data set. That was our least. Okay. What's the greatest value in the data? And our greatest number was 128. We're going to label that point as B on the box plot. So that was way up here. That was point B. And we call this the greatest or the largest number in the data set. Continuing on, what's the median? We found the median. That was 105. Was the median. Circle the median and then show it on the box plot. So we've actually already circled it here. We've already labeled it median. On the box plot, we need to put, we've already circled it, so show it on the box plot. We need to put a dot at 105. It's right in the middle, and then the line goes through it. So there's a dot there, and then the line goes through it. The next one says circle the 5 scores below the median on the data set and then find the median of those. So we didn't necessarily circle them. You could have. I could come back up here and say of these 5 numbers right here, what was the middle of those? And we said that was 98. And that's where our quartile 1 was. We could put 98, quartile 1. That's the lower quartile. Label it Q1 on the box plot. So on the box plot, we still need to label Q1. So Q1 is right here. It's the first part of the box. Q2 is the middle part, and then we're going to eventually label Q3 on the next part. So we'll go ahead and do that while we're up there on the box. Q1, Q2, Q3, that makes your box. So then when you circle the 5 scores above the median, that were these 5, 109 to 128 up here, what's the median of those, or the middle? That was 117. That's what we called Q3. Upper quartile, we labeled it Q3. We actually did that right here in green. We labeled it Q3. So Q1, 2, and 3 make your box, and then your lowest and highest make your whiskers. What is the interquartile range? And this gets kind of tricky, but if you remember that, that's Q3 minus Q1. So that's taking this number and subtracting this number. 117 minus, what was that, 98? And that gives us what, 19. So the interquartile range is 19. Different than if I ask what is the range. What is the range? Question mark. The range is your highest number minus your lowest. So your highest number was 128, and if you subtract your lowest, 91, then you could figure out what your range is on that. So interquartile range is looking at your quartiles. The range is looking at all of your numbers. And 128 minus 91 is 37. I just used my calculator real quick to find that. And that's fine. You can use your calculator on this particular standard. Circle the whiskers on the box plot, then circle the numbers that they represent in the data set. Tell what you notice. So what they're talking about is the whiskers up here, what you notice about your whiskers. So basically right here to B, and then from here to A. Those whiskers that you're noticing, that is like looking from Q3 on out to the top and from Q1 out. So it's like those whiskers represent these circles out. So you break down your data into quartiles. We'll do some more practice with box plots, but it's really important that you know it's your lowest, highest, quartile 1, 2, and 3. And that's what you have to do with your data once you put it in a least to greatest order.